We're the American Top Team.
My name is Dean Thomas. I'm a MMA coach at American Top Team. I've been in charge of making sure that Todd is prepared for his fight against Frank Mir.
With my training, I've always just been all about being well-rounded. I'm not changing anything I'm doing for him. You know, I'm gonna be the best me, and then you know, I feel very confident that my better is better than his better. You know.
So the first thing I did with Todd was I wanted to see where he was at physically. Then I wanted to do some research on his opponent. I'm very big on doing research on opponents. So I watched a lot of film on Frank Mir. I also started watching film on Todd. So I do a lot of background research before I start working with an athlete. After I did all my research and did the scouting reports, I created a schedule for Todd that was conducive towards the information that I gathered during the scouting reports. Consisted of, you know, a lot of wrestling, boxing, how much time we wanted to spend doing each thing. And it's been great so far. Todd is an amazing athlete. He listens well, he's very coachable, and I've had a good time so far in camp.
So usually I got the fight about 12 weeks ago, and that's usually about the perfect amount of time for camp. Break down into nice phases. The first 4 weeks is kind of getting your body acclimated to training again. A lot of high volume stuff, getting your endurance going again. So you're working like a strength endurance phase, and you're doing a lot of just high reps with your martial arts stuff, a lot of drilling. Then weeks 8 through 4, you start to get into more live goes. And you start moving more into more strength power stuff going on. And these last 4 weeks, it's just all power endurance, and it's just all a lot of live action, a lot of live grappling, a lot of live sparring. Nothing to the fight. I don't have to cut weight, so I spar usually pretty close to the fight. I spent a little time out in Vegas with Bryce, my pad holder. The majority of my camp's been doing here. All my sparring partners, my grappling coaches are out here.
So Todd calls me his striking coach. I consider myself his friend who holds pads for him. I basically get beaten up by Todd a lot while I was holding pads during training camp. Todd had 2 years off of no activity because his arm, everything was screwed, and he got straight back into it. He's sharper than he's ever been. Yeah, he's way sharper now than he ever was.
One of my biggest things is this: you can dial the wrong phone number, but just because you dial it harder doesn't mean it's going to work. You have to do things the right way in order for them to work. So even if you do it wrong and you do it hard, doesn't mean it's going to work. So with Todd, I wanted to make sure that we structure this camp so that he can have a healthy, safe camp and do all the right things that he needs in order to fight a guy like Frank Mir. Because Frank Mir is a very different type of athlete. Frank Mir is an old school fighter. He's very crafty. He's very tricky. And if you just train hard for a guy like that without structure, you're going to find yourself in a lot of trouble, because Frank will find a mistake that you make and he'll capitalize on it.
This next fight against Frank Mir is going to be cool because Todd's trained with him, I've trained with Frank. It's been a long build-up for this sort of opportunity. It's the main event, so I'm excited for it. He's excited for it. It's time to showcase, you know, what Todd's really got. Showcase his skills.